You don't need Photoshop skills to make thumbnails that make people want to click on your videos. I've made over 300 thumbnails for myself and for my clients. And what I've learned along this very slow and painful journey has completely changed how I think about thumbnails and getting views on YouTube. If you take a look around on this side of the spectrum, we got the low effort, raw, unedited screenshot thumbnails that sometimes pop. On the other opposite side of the spectrum, you have Mr. Beast style thumbnails that are really over edited, highly designed in Photoshop. But if I'm honest, if you try to do this as a business owner, you would most likely flop. And that's probably not the branding that you want for your business either. So there's dead zone in between these two extremes where creators like us get stuck. And that's where I was until I changed my approach. Now I'm starting to see that my videos are getting shown more because they get more clicks. And as a result, I get more views. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my before and after thumbnails, my thought process for this new thumbnail style, and the step-by-step on how you can do this new thumbnail style too that works in any niche, even if you're not a designer. By the way, if you need support in your online business or your YouTube journey, check out my school community. And if you want to skip that and work with me one-to-one so you can move the fastest, book a call with me. Both of these links are down below. All right, so let's take a look at the before and after. I've been talking to a friend of mine who's from Poland, who's also a business owner using YouTube to promote his business. He's a gas installation person and he has about the same subscriber count as me. So he gave me like a really honest feedback where my thumbnails were not distinctive enough. So if you put my thumbnails in the homepage, there's really nothing distinguished about it except for there's my face on there, this one right here. So the thing is, I'm not that famous yet, so even putting my face doesn't really do anything. And then you can also see that there's different fonts, there's different colors. Some are dark, some are bright, some have backgrounds, some don't have backgrounds. It's just a mess. And I do agree that the font that I chose, and especially with the stroke, kind of like this thing over here, arrows with the stroke here does make it look juvenile. And this looks like I'm trying, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So this is before and this is after. What this friend of mine made me realize is that I need to figure out a branding that works for me. So that's choosing a font and a color palette that nobody else has. And basically try to be different, right? So we're going to use a format that works, but figure out a way to make myself look different. This is the best that I can come up with at this point. And as you can see, I have a unique font that I don't think a lot of people are using. This color palette is more to the white side, which I think is better for getting clicks. If it's too dark, it's just not inviting for people to click, in my opinion. And everything else looks really clean. And when I update everything together, I look like a proper YouTuber. Before, after, before, after. And I think this is a huge improvement. So when I change all of these thumbnails that I've done in like a night, some of these videos immediately had an effect. Like my views shot up, my impression and everything shot up. I think it's because people like the new thumbnail, they click on it, and that signals to the algorithm, hey, this is a pretty okay video, why don't we try pushing this out further? So changing the thumbnails that you have to put some thought into it, will definitely help your channel. So before we go to the how do I do this step by step, the first thing is we need to nail down the main strategy. Like you don't need really good Photoshop skills because that's not really what gets you the click. Making thumbnails is very easy, but it does require flair. A good thumbnail only has like 3 components: a text, yourself, and maybe some other thing that you're trying to show. That's it, around 3 ingredients only. But if you're not used to making thumbnails or don't know how to think about it, it will not turn out great. It's kind of like cooking steak. Cooking steak, there's only 3 ingredients: steak, salt, oil. That's it. But if you don't have the flair to know when to flip it, how much of a heat do you need, what kind of pan do you use, you're going to screw up the steak, right? So I think it's a similar thing. When you're doing marketing as a business owner or whatever you're trying to promote your personal brand, what you're really doing is you're trying to be different so people pay attention to you. That's what you're trying to do with YouTube or any social media platform. The main strategy is figure out how to be different. Let's move on to the exact step-by-step process of how I design these thumbnails. So first of all, assuming you do not have a video idea yet, the best place to do that is to register a software called oneof10.com. This is a tool that will help filter and only show outlier videos from other people. If you're trying to grow your channel, that's exactly what you got to be doing. You got to model the outlier videos so you can also make an outlier video as well. You do not need to keep making value videos because those don't really grow your channel. They convert people who already know you, but they don't grow your channel. All right, so let's say you have an idea about how to make thumbnails, for example. You can just type it in here and click on search. It will show you a bunch of stuff that's already out there. And what I do is usually filter. I go up multiplier maybe 3 times and maybe the last 3 months. This is a very tight filter, but it will show you the best types of thumbnails that is currently working. So for example, this particular video is doing 4.8 times better than this channel's average. This is what I'm doing, and I would most likely model my thumbnail and title from this video. So if you model what's already working, the chances of your video working as well is pretty high. But if you just whip out a random video that you think is great, but it's not proven by data, in other words, you're trying to be too original, what is the probability that will blow up? I think it's very low, right? So right now, we're trying to build our channel as fast as possible. We need to model what already works. So I highly recommend this tool, oneof10.com. I think it's about $49 a month. If you want, link in the description below. All right, so now you know where to get video ideas and also the outlier, titles and thumbnails. Next, we're going to be talking about branding. How can you be different? And the way to do this is to pick a color palette and a font that nobody else is using. So I'm going to show you mine. So you can go to Pinterest like this and just type in website color palette, and a bunch of stuff will come up, and you can click on the thing that you like, for example, this one, and it will show you more recommendations of something similar. So for example, I particularly like this one, and that's exactly what I use for my color palette. And for the font, if you notice that most of these texts, they're all sans serif. That means it's the text without the kind of tail at the end. So I feel like the easiest way to just go against the grain is just to pick something with serif. That works for me, but it may not work for your brand. So just pick some font that is easy to read that nobody else is using. You can type in mod Canva fonts if you're using Canva, and you can click on this and just take a look at your options. There's so many. Just pick something that looks kind of cool to you that is still easy to read. Like this one, maybe not as a thumbnail. This one's a little too skinny and tall. This is nice and modern. So pick something that works for you. All right, now we got the branding out of the way. The next thing you want to do is your pose. Like, how would you pose in the video? So you can screenshot one of the frames in your video. I use this as a last resort, but usually I would pose for the camera, like maybe this or whatever. Just pose because I feel like the quality of the picture is a little bit better. These are all the thumbnails that I have updated that I will be going through with you in this video. Look at all this stuff. It's quite a lot. I think around 30 thumbnails that I've done over the span of 2 days. So on the left side here, these are the old thumbnails, and on the right side is the progression of the newer designs. We're gonna go through this one by one. This is the new branding that I picked for my channel. This is the font, the color palette, and the background. I put a rule to myself, so I don't put more than 3 words as the text. I used to have a limit of 4 or 5, but I think that's too much. Right now, I only put 2 to 3. The shorter, the better. It just looks so clean, right? So there's 3 elements: a picture of me, some text, and another element. In this case, there's an X and a tick. In this thumbnail, there's only 2. The fewer, the better. All right, so that's the game plan. Let's see how I've changed all this stuff. So over here, these are my old thumbnails that I did a split test, 3 of them. None of them performed very well because it has too low of an impression to have any result in the A/B test. So I started to change this, and I wasn't too happy about the background, which is my studio here. It just looks a little messy. So I removed the background. I put in the background color here, and if I just put the background color, it looks a little too plain. So I added some sort of gradient thing based on the color palette that I have, and I highlighted one of the texts that I want to emphasize. And I put a logo of the YouTube here, which I think is relevant. Okay, so that's the first video. The second video is me at the park, but I darkened the background. I changed the new font and color palette. I'm not super happy about this either, but this will do for now. Then I move on to the next one. I think this is a bigger improvement. This makes sense to me, stiff and natural, but somehow the font and everything just looks kind of childish. Now it's authentic and just me at a park and me looking confident. This is also a big improvement. Solopreneur killer, I think that's too niche. How many people are aware and already are a solopreneur? Not that many. The number one reason YouTube becomes easier once you stop doing this, which is to unlabel yourself. The text that I put here, the 2 or 3 letter word, is basically kind of summing up the point of the video without giving it away too much. Unlabel yourself. People are like, what does that mean? Like, then they look at the title like, okay, maybe I want to click on this to figure out what he means. This is also a big improvement. It was a raw video of me explaining how my content strategy works. The only content strategy you need, I blurred the background, put in the new font. It still doesn't do it for me. Then I moved it to the left side, make the font bigger, make it yellow. Doesn't do it for me either. And then I removed all the messy background, and I think I like this. Give value, no. Tell stories, yes. So instead of the only content strategy you need, fixing your content strategy in 6 minutes, because the length of the video is 6 minutes. So the next one, okay, this is my attempt to vlog outdoors. I have a background of this nice courtyard over here. This is a very specific thing talking about high level. The progression goes from here to here. from high level to Mailer Lite. A lot of people know high level. When I say stop paying $97 per month for high level, this is cheaper and better. Maybe it will cause them to be curious and want to click on the video. How about this? Content creation is the new 9 to 5 trap. Don't get trapped. Okay, I'm kind of repeating myself here. I like the facial expression, but I'm not happy with the background, and also this looks kind of juvenile. So I changed to this. 97% will quit. Content creation is worse than your 9 to 5. How to win anyways. So I think that's quite interesting. This looks way more premium than this, even though I just changed a few things. Moving on to the next. I was reviewing school, like I launched a school community, should you start one? So I changed from this to the new font, still wasn't doing it for me. The background was too messy, then I removed the background, and I think that does it. Before you start a school community, watch this. And then I say shut it down. So that maybe people who are considering to start want to click on the video to see what I mean by shutting it down. How about this? Copy my system to make $13,000 online. I say stop selling. This is not my new color palette, so I change it to this. And I put 1, 2, 3 system. Makes people curious, what is this? I need to know the 1, 2, 3. I think the title's fine, so I just use the same thing. I just change without selling or to without ads. Down here, why my newer videos flop from an ex-YouTube employee. This looked kind of cartoony, and now it's like, I was wrong, and that's kind of cool. This is also a significant improvement. This video didn't perform very well, so I say simplest way to start making YouTube videos, if you just take your writing into video and just the symbol and just the simplicity and all the colors kind of work together, I'm really happy with this. This one seems like I have a thought into doing it, but it just didn't turn out well. Avoid my mistakes, stop building. Maybe that's a little too niche. So what I did instead, I zoomed in, removed the background, add the colors, and the text is just do less. Why you work so hard but still broke as fuck? What to do about it? Because that's exactly the point of this video. Moving on. Okay, this video performed slightly better. How to read the script without teleprompter. And I have all this cool stuff, so I just removed the messy background and changed it to the new font, and I think this looks better. So I'm split testing these two, and then I'm going to report to you which one does better later. Social media is a waste of time and money. Do this instead. Interesting topic, but it just looks not cool. So I changed it to this. I think that's really interesting. I think this is a good thumbnail. Okay, now we're going to storytelling. So this is a really outlier topic, but it's not doing so well for me here. I just changed it to my new color palette. I'm not super happy about this yellow kind of accents here. Maybe that doesn't jive very well, but that's the best I can do for now. And I changed from storytelling to story selling. One word. 1 month of content in 1 hour. Batch your sanity, because that's exactly what it solves. Become a speaker. I got my first speaking gig. This sounds a little too low quality, then I just changed it to this, speaker. How I booked my first paid speaking gig with YouTube. That's pretty cool. Moving on, AI is coming. Why people over 30 should start a YouTube channel. Is it too late? But I'm making money. Is starting YouTube really a brilliant idea even if no one's watching? YouTube is now on easy mode, and I changed this to the algorithm has changed. And I flip my image horizontally so I look like that. Next one is why you feel starting YouTube is heavy. I change it to stop overthinking and start creating. Just post. I like it. This is a massive improvement. My flopped videos actually grew my YouTube channel. Posting bad videos will blow up your small channel. Just post. And the facial expression helps with that. And down here, publish fast. 8 insider tips to produce YouTube videos easier. 8 tips to make videos so fast it feels illegal. Publish fast. And YouTube changed my life, but it took too long. How YouTube changed my life in 6 months. Just start. It's pretty cool. Upload the right way. 16 things you should never forget when uploading. After each upload. This looks much more presentable. So there you go. As you can see, there's a theme going on here, and it's repeatable, right? It's very easy to whip this out, but the Photoshop skills is not what really gets the click. It's the thought behind it, right? So now you know how to make easy thumbnails that will get you clicks, even if you're not a designer. But how do you get the views that you're going to get into customers and clients? Well, if you want to know how to do that, watch this video next.